that cop down at 34th and Vine. Yell hallelujah, love potion number 9.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian, Mr. Phil Rosen.
Hey you! Thank you very much! Hey you! How you guys doing tonight? Alright. Hey, Love Potions. Yeah. You know, they got a brand name now for Love Potion number 9. It's called Requip. Yeah, I didn't think that would work. Let me see. Yeah, I got nothing. I mean, I got something. I got all the things I can't tell you. Things my wife can't tell you, my daughter can't tell you, my pharmacist legally can't tell you, the girl at the sex shop shouldn't tell you. There's a whole lot of quiet lips in my world these days. Which is, you know, difficult when you're paid to open your mouth. What I used to love about doing this, about doing stand-up, was that, you know, when we laughed, we were all in the same place. That 1 minute, you know, we were all in it together. We got it, nodding heads, same boat, simpatico, you know? And we're not anymore. Believe me, we are in very different boats. That was a side effect I didn't see coming when we got the news. And the side effects of those side effects? Well, it was only when I was coming here tonight that I realized that life is one big side effect, isn't it? Now, our parents decided to get it on one night or one afternoon, one morning, whatever, you know, and we are the side effect. And since that moment, we came screaming out into the world. Almost every waking second has been spent dealing with other side effects, and side effects of those side effects, and side effects of those side effects. I mean, the mirror goes on forever, you know. How many people remember that big snowstorm we had last week? Huh? Welcome to Cleveland, right? Yeah, well, naturally, I went out to shovel my driveway, which produced the side effect of an aching back. Now, I take some anti-inflammatories to reduce the pain, but I hate taking pills. Hate it! I mean, not quite phobic, but close. Part of it is it's my nature, you know, afraid of altering my body, but part of it is a side effect of my mother-in-law's taking a daily aspirin, which caused a hole in her stomach that killed her. Death is a side effect. That's one of the worst side effects you can get. Anyways, the side effect of my not being able to shovel because of my aching back is that the snowstorm keeps piling up fresh inches on my driveway, and I can't clear it off. You know, if only I hadn't shoveled before, my driveway would be shoveled now, you know, which has the side effect of, you know, my stuck car, missed opportunities, lost jobs. Was there ever even an original goal to this whole mess to begin with, right? The United States is just a side effect of people being pissed off wherever they were before, or being kicked out or dragged from wherever they were before. You know, the continent is just a side effect of global plates ramming together and pulling apart. The planet, that's just an offshoot of the Big Bang, you know? And the Big Bang, that had to be a side effect. Probably someone's parents getting it on one night or one afternoon. So, speaking of, you know, getting it on, the need to procreate might be what got me into this mess to begin with. So yeah, a few years ago, I'm a free-floating 20-something who free-floats home to his apartment one afternoon or evening, and you know, there are about 15, 20 people hanging out, and so I start hanging out and chatting, and there is this girl. This amazing, flashing-eyed, feel your heart beating against your ribs, am I still breathing? Girl. And we go around the circle telling a little bit about ourselves, and the wheel lands on this one guy named Mike, who conspicuously doesn't say his last name. So I step up and Mike, what's your last name? No, I'm not gonna tell you my last name. You'll make fun of it. And I'm thinking, hello, I'm a comic. But I say, oh, come on, I wouldn't make fun. All right. My last name is Stanfar. Stanfar? Why would I make fun of a name like Stanfar, especially given my last name? Why? What's your last name? Sit close. The girl is the only one laughs, and I'm enthralled. Not because I'm a comedian and she laughed at my little joke, but because she's the only one who appreciates how far I had to go to get to that joke. Sometimes the humor is in the slow setup more than it's in the punchline. Well, anyways, this got us hanging out the rest of the evening, and we've been laughing and hanging out for 20 years now. Maggie, that's her name. She is one of these amazing people who just doesn't get any older. I mean, I guess if I look close, she's physically aged a little bit, but inside, she is still that same sparking, flashing smile, quick to laugh, quick to fight, just graceful. And we are one of those disgusting couples who still straight talk and have fun together, which makes it odd that I used to fantasize about her death. Though it wasn't the dying part I used to fantasize about. I'd be devastated by that. It was the after I got over the grief part. Mostly it was the I can now have sex with a whole bunch of willing, attractive women part. It was my fantasy. Accent on the word fantasy. Come on, because, our married life was chugging along just fine. Except for the sexual ennui creeping between the sheets, which sounds way more French than it is. But it's a cliche, right? Yeah? Man wants sex, woman doesn't. Life gets in the way, right? We have jobs, we have kids. Oh, we have one. A kid. I would gladly have another, but apparently you have to keep the one they give you at the hospital. It's a joke. Her name is Emma, and I love her dearly. But Maggie and I used to be young lover woman and young lover man, and now we're mom and dad. Very different job titles. And, we have our paying jobs. Maggie's is even, a successful one. She's she's an OBGYN, ironically enough. Or maybe that's not ironic, just coincidence. She hears complaints of low libido from her patients all day long. And, the financial security of her job allows me to take my insecurities out into the world and get paid for it.
How many people are married here tonight, huh? There you go, all right. Yeah, you have been married for a long time when lovemaking has to have a noun after it. As in, I love making cookies. Or, we love making money. Yeah, I should have seen this coming. Back when we got engaged, we registered, I guess, for, China. People asked us if we'd chosen a pattern yet. I'm like, yeah. Usually I beg, she falls asleep. Sort of a traditional pattern we chose. One my parents had. I actually think I'm getting better in bed. When we first got married, I would go all night just to satisfy my wife. Now, one time, and my wife is happy for a month. So I'm getting pretty good at this. Pretty soon, we might not have to do it at all.
Which was good to take it out there. Because God knows I could take it at home, but I had nowhere to put it. Our married life was like, swimming in waters where underneath was this great white shark of sexual tension. I desperately wanted the night to end in sex. And she knew I desperately wanted the night to end in sex, And so we're having a nice dinner out. Nice dinner out, wine, some laughs. Da-dum. More wine. Not too much talk about Emma. Maybe a nice walk, holding hands. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe some music or a show. Dun, 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 dun. Don't blow this. Don't blow this. Dun, 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 dun. Home. Make sure the daughter's asleep. Dun, 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 dun. Bedroom. Dun, 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 dun. Into bed. Dun, 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 dun. So close. Doodly-doo. So close. So close. Doodly-doo. 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 Get your cold hands away from my legs if you value your knuckles. But I want you. Oh, you're so predictable. If I wasn't predictable, would you want me? I knew you'd say that. Look, I'm not happy about this either. I wish I was in the mood, but I'm not, okay? If it's any consolation, I have dozens of women coming in a week saying that their husbands want sex and they're just not that interested anymore. And they ask for a patch or a secret method or something. And all I can think of is, tell me about it, sister. I'm sorry. I'm just too tired. God. God. God! God? I know we have this fairly ambiguous relationship. I am fairly confident that you exist, and yet I feel that your behavior is completely ambiguous. So I don't really expect my prayers to be answered. I just sometimes need the exercise in humility. But if you can find a way, somehow, with the whole omnipotence thing, for Maggie to be sexually reinvigorated, it would really help my sanity. Amen. Be careful what you pray for, Philip. Ah, that's Shell. We call him the rabbi. He hangs out at the comedy club and gives some good comedy advice or a decent joke. Maybe that's why we call him the rabbi. Or maybe it's because he's a rabbi. Sometimes he catches me off guard.
You know, there are different levels to the soul. There's the base level here on earth that most people live with and never move beyond in the physical world. Why are you telling me this? Your whole goal here on earth is to elevate your soul. Wherever you turn your attention, that's where your soul will follow. You focus out here. Your soul moves out here. You focus here. Yeah, but it gets the laughs, Rabbi. Or it used to.
You know, it's not so easy to focus on the soul when you're distracted by physical problems. Like Maggie, you know, she's got this persistent weird sensation and sometimes twitching and buzzing in her left hand.
You know, the other night I was thinking about diseases, because I'm a comic, that's what I do. There are certain diseases that are just, you know, naturally funny, you know, like Tourette's. No, guys start swearing uncontrollably, inherently funny. I've actually heard that kids can start showing symptoms in childhood. You know, at 4 years old, I don't even know how they have a complete vocabulary of swear words. Or they just jumping rope and then just shout out, "Oh, poop, 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 you do not a poopy head!" Or dyslexia, it's funny, right? Yeah, because, you know, I had a friend with dyslexia. I was kind of mean to him on his birthday. I gave him a book of palindromes and told him he was cured. Oh, and Parkinson's is funny, right? Right, because there are, you know, certain jobs you don't give a Parkinson's patient to barber, sniper, Jell-O mold server, moil.
That's the person who performs the circumcisions in the Jewish religion. Now, I have been to a few brisses in my time, besides mine. And, you know how many of these brisses someone makes a joke about the shaky moil or the moil with Parkinson's? All of them. I know this not just from my personal experience, but because Maggie is a moil. She performs dozens of circumcisions each year, and she tells me after each one how someone made a Parkinson's, you know, shaky moil joke. She's really attuned to those things now, because that pain in her shoulder and the buzzing feeling, Parkinson's. Yeah, that one is ironic. See, no one knows why people get Parkinson's. Sometimes it's genetic. Mostly it's not. It could be your environment, or it could be head trauma. No two people are affected by the disease the same way. But most everyone who gets the disease, especially young onset Parkinson's, tells basically the same story. And it's always a horror flick. When those little physical flukes start fluking, you might as well be walking downstairs in a slasher film. You know, you want to yell out, "Don't go down there!" Or, you know, or in this case, not a twitch in your left hand. Swing that arm when you walk, swing it! That'll make it all go away! But just like in those horror flicks, once you start down those steps, there's no turning back. Maggie had these symptoms for about 2 years, and her course of treatment was self-guided. Massage, exercise, and the time-tested medical therapy of ignoring it. When those things didn't seem to be working, she went and saw a couple of neurologists, and there was the word. And the word was Parkinson's, which is incurable, which is all we can really say about it. The more she and I dive into research books or reference the internet or talk to people who have it, the more we realize that there's no owner's manual for this thing. If there was, it would be a one-word book. Whatever. Because that would be easier than writing down about every possible symptom and then ending every explanation with, or you could experience the complete opposite. Like insomnia is a side effect of Parkinson's, but so is somnolence, which is daytime drowsiness. Which makes sense. If you're not sleeping at night, why not be sleepy during the day, Or akathisia is another symptom. That's the inability to sit still. Now, if you have this, don't panic. Akathisia can mean one of three things. You have Parkinson's, you have Spilkus, or you're under the age of 14. Check your birth certificate or Yiddish dictionary to determine which one it is. Then there's also micrographia, which is a deterioration in handwriting. Now, this one she definitely got. See, Maggie used to have very sharp, very clear handwriting. If, unintelligible scrawling was a required course in med school, she might have been expelled because it was too legible. But now, with Parkinson's, it's become a challenge to, make sense out of her penmanship, which makes it hard to read her patient charts, and it screwed up our home communication as well. Hey, See, my handwriting is so bad that a slight tremor might actually improve it. But now, we both write these little cryptic notes that may as well be written in Sanskrit. Where have you been? At the dentist? Didn't you see my note? Yes, it said you were at the Armenian ambassadors. Why would I be at the Armenian ambassadors? I don't know, but it said you'd be there till after 11:30. That says 5:30. And your note says you were fluming to the circus for beads. Why would I do that? I don't know. That says running to the store for some bread. I don't know. What is fluming? I don't know. And why would I go to the circus for beads? I don't know! So now we don't write. Side effect! Yeah. Instead, even though we've only been married for 20 years, our discussions now rely on the subtle grunts and nods of a couple that's been together for 50. Hey, Parkinson's has given us the gift of premature maturity. See, but Maggie, using her doctor brain, is pouring through abstracts from the annual Movement Disorder Conference with titles like Delivery of Kinase-Modified LRRK2, the dopaminergic neurons using high-capacity viral vectors, which I think has something to do with getting Parkinson's while in hyperspace. And I'm, snooping around for anecdotal cures on my laptop, coming up with all sorts of things that are supposed to help, like, let's see, dancing, boxing, playing drums, knitting, singing, forced high-speed biking, and taking a foreign language. It's like Parkinson's is the ultimate self-improvement disease. Oh, come on, honey! Frère Jacques, parlez-vous, donde está la biblioteca? 99 Luftballons, alle Fremdweg und Horizon. Knit one, pearl two, knit one, pearl two. Look, honey, here's the matching sweaters I just finished. And look, no Parkinson's. I like when I can still make her laugh. We used to be two independent people who lived our lives as friends, lovers, and complete equals. When there were times one of us had something we had to deal with, the other one could be there to, provide advice or comfort, or just be there and be strong and know it would pass. Parkinson's won't pass. I want to be supportive, but I don't always know what that means. Sometimes I try to comfort her when she just wants to be left alone, or vice versa. I notice her hand shaking and wonder whether I should take it or leave it alone for fear she'll get angry at me for trying to steady her. We are back to being a young couple with me uncertain of when to take her hand. And that's the thing, see? All of this, everything that comes with that one word, Parkinson's. All of the emotions and the changes and the treatments and the whole future being ripped out from underneath us. This whole huge new universe. We have to keep it all locked up in here. Maggie and I don't lock. We're very open. I go on stage and dangle my private life every weekend, for God's sake. But here's this one thing, if it so much as peeks one tiny claw out from underneath the door, and anybody sees it, it could ruin our whole lives because, I mean, let's be honest. Who wants the trembling surgeon or the shaky moil, right? You know. Right, and okay, I'll be honest. I don't want my surgeon shaking either, but Maggie is taking medication to keep her steady. And we asked her doctor about the ethical and legal issues.
Please, do you know how many doctors are on medication for seizure disorders or dealing with drug addiction? And none of them are required to tell anybody before they operate.
How many people here are planning on having surgery in the near future, huh? Yeah. Day after day, hour after hour, you start thinking, everybody has got secrets. Swiss bank account. Right? Sex change operation. Married to 3 other men in 2 different states. Thinks that being a cannibal might not be all bad. Yeah. There was about 5 minutes when I seriously believed everybody on our block had Parkinson's. And if they'd all just admit it, they'd all go off their medication, and our entire block would look like a bobblehead convention. Yeah. So we quickly learned that keeping a secret means more than keeping your mouth shut. It means keeping your mind and emotions shut. Almost every second. Morning, Phil! What's going on? What's going on? Maggie's got Parkinson's. Every minute of our lives is eaten up dealing with this goddamn Parkinson's! Not much! You? Okay, so keeping my mouth trap was shut. It was hard. But Maggie, she not only had to keep her mouth still, she had to keep her arms silent. You wouldn't know it unless you knew it, but Maggie keeps her left hand in her pocket or under a table when she's with someone who doesn't know. She's getting really good at hiding it. But eventually, they're going to have to tell. Not because of a burst of the burden, but because of the slow, steady hiss of Maggie's symptoms. It will become obvious, like pregnancy. We just hope the telling can be on our terms. Unless it's not. Now, since her diagnosis, Maggie has had a safety valve, which is a journal that she keeps in her nightstand drawer, which fortunately is magically invisible to children. Yes? You can keep your condoms, your lubricant, your Dildo-Matic 9000 in that nightstand. No child is ever going to think to look in there, right? Cue our daughter Emma, 13, who needed a pen, and the magic invisible shield must have been turned off because she sees the nightstand and we hear her crying before we ever see her. She comes down the steps needing to hug her mother, but afraid to. That's the first kick in the stomach. She's read the journal and absolutely knows her daughter, her mother, is going to die. Emma, hey, sweetheart, Emma, look at me. Shh. Hey, do I look any different now than I did this morning? Hey, I'm okay. We are all okay tonight. And tonight is where we are. I'm sorry you got scared. That's what we were trying to avoid. I'm sorry. And that's how our daughter ate from the tree of knowledge. And now she has to deal with the side effects, which fortunately doesn't mean her getting kicked out of the garden, but it does mean her having to bear the secret burden like her parents. And she is much smaller than us. She's a vibrant, social, talkative little kid. Or she was. We started seeing the changes almost immediately.
You know, this keeping things locked up. Did I ever tell you about the old man who walked into the confessional and said,
Father, I am 84 years old, and last night I had an affair. I made love to 2 college co-eds, both of them twice.
And the priest says,
Oh, well, when was the last time you were in confession?
Never, Father, I'm Jewish.
Oh, well, what are you telling me for?
Telling you! Hell, I'm telling everybody!
that should be you, Philip. Telling everybody, not keeping it in. That can have side effects.
So can letting it out, Rabbi. And is it wrong to want to live life on our terms? I mean, isn't that why Maggie started taking these pills to begin with?
You know, there was this great rabbi who found out that he had Parkinson's, and he wouldn't take any medication, not one pill. Do you know why?
Really bad prescription coverage?
He wants to live with the earthly obstacle of Parkinson's in order to elevate himself spiritually. If he muddles his mind with all those chemicals, where's the room for grace? For God. God gave you and your wife this challenge for a reason. So what are you going to do with it?
We're going to say, thank you, God, for this challenge. And for all the chemicals you made. And she's going to take those pills, and we're going to keep this secret as long as possible. Because if we had to choose one of us to get Parkinson's, Maggie and I probably would have both chosen Maggie. Well, she's cracking a little bit, but she is handling the symptoms and the prognosis better than I could have. See, and she has no problem popping pills to deal with the symptoms. I, on the other hand, really do not like the idea of chemically altering this mess of a man commonly known as Phil.
You know, I could never take any pills or drugs. I would be a terrible drug addict. No, seriously. I'd be going to bed at night and be like, damn it! Oh, I forgot to take my heroin today. Should I take it now? I'll just wait till tomorrow. If I did ever try heroin and was thrilled with the experience, I still wouldn't be able to go back for seconds. You know, I'd be telling the dealer, but no, really, I love the euphoria. It's just, can I get that without the injection? No, sniffing isn't appealing. No pills. If you had a heroin cream, I'd be willing to try that. How about heroin cream that's also SPF 50, so if I zone out in the sun, I'm protected. You got that? You know, if I ever did develop some sort of chronic illness, I would have to opt for some sort of holistic cure, you know, like, rubbing. I like rubbing. Okay, Mr. Philip, we go to rub you up, huh? We go to rub that arthritis right out of your hands. Just rub. Okay, we go to rub that also right out of your belly. Just rub. Go to rub that macular degeneration right out of your eye. Just rub. So sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Listen. Rub. Now we're going to rub that enlarged prostate. Just whoa, hey, okay! Thank you, Stefan. I'm healed. I am healed!
So thank God Maggie can take pills. Of course, the new twist with all of these drugs is... Thank you for paying attention. Side effects! Yes. Some common Parkinson's drugs cause dyskinesias, which is, I kid you not, uncontrolled jerky motions. How do you even know it's working? You know, that's why no pill is ever gonna pass these lips. Taking anything is like playing the big pharmaceutical slot machine, you know? Put the pill in your mouth, and the wheel starts spinning, and who knows where it'll stop. You know, Maggie started taking this one drug called Requip, which has got all kinds of side effects that take up the better part of its commercial. Has anybody seen it? Yeah, probably not, because in the commercial, it's a remedy for restless leg syndrome. So they show it at like 3 in the morning when people who can't sleep because of their restless legs is up watching television. They're no dummies. Yeah, yeah. See, lots of Parkinson's patients have RLS, but you can get it without having Parkinson's. And a regular dose of Requip, much smaller than a Parkinson's patient would take, can be effective. I downloaded it off of YouTube. We're gonna try and see if it'll work. Lindsay, can you play it, please?
It was so frustrating.
Crank it.
A mystery I couldn't solve. Night after night, strange sensations
Ooh,
in my
and
legs.
spelling on the legs.
I had to get rid of it. All I wanted to do was rest. I had restless leg syndrome. My doctor said RLS symptoms usually get worse when it's time to relax. And then he said something else. Requip. He said Requip would help relieve those RLS symptoms that were making my nights so difficult. He told me what to watch for. That Requip may cause you to fall asleep or feel very sleepy during normal activities such as driving, or to faint or feel dizzy when you stand up. Tell your doctor if you experience these problems, or if you drink alcohol or are taking medicines that make you drowsy. Also, tell your doctor if you experienced new or increased gambling, sexual, or other intense urges while taking Requip. Side effects may include nausea, drowsiness, vomiting, and dizziness. Thanks to Requip, the RLS result can be more anymore. Ask your doctor about Requip.
Not bad, huh? See, now, did you hear those? Your standard nausea, trouble breathing, headaches, dizziness, but then you've got those urges you need to see your doctor about, you know, urges like gambling or sexual urges or apparently a compulsion to do the crossword puzzle. Of those side effects, can you guess which one I was rooting for? Huh? Can you guess which one I was expecting? Yeah, I started keeping a very close eye on our bank account and our credit cards, but the pharmaceutical slot machine went round and around and around for about 2 months, and then... Jackpot! Woo-hoo-hoo! Now, I don't want to make light of what could be a debilitating problem, but let me just say this again. Jackpot! Oh yeah! Woo! Oh yeah! Now to clarify, I know that jackpot is a gambling term, but Maggie had no interest in gambling. I was the one feeling very, very lucky. Oh, yes. We're having sex one night when I realized this is the second time in a week we've done this. When was the last time that happened? I chalked it up to a nice surprise, you know? Then, about a week later, I'm feeling the Jaws theme undertow of sexual desire bubbling up from underneath, so I buy wine, get tickets to a show, warm up the hands. Bang! We're doing it again before we ever get out of the house! And then again! And then again! Oh, and I'm thinking, is this possibly the greatest side effect in the history of side effects? Oh, dear. Before Parkinson's and Requip, there were certain requirements for sex. You know, Maggie's job had to be going well, our daughter couldn't need our attention, the house had to be between 74 and 84 degrees, and the Democrats had to have control of at least one house of Congress. Now the prerequisites are, my wife has to have a job, our daughter has to be alive, the house has to be standing, the temperature needs to be between 0 and 100 degrees, and the Democrats have to control at least one house of Congress. And this happens all the time! Yes. Oh, the dining table! Oh, yeah! Woo! The bathroom floor! Oh! Our friend's dark patio during a party! Oh. The back seat of our Prius. Woo! The front seat of a Prius. We don't even know whose Prius it was. All those Prii look alike. Oh, you see? This is what I'm talking about. I had the same need all this time, and you were refusing me. Are you complaining?
You know, Philip,
Yes, Shell. Is this your Prius?
there are ways to elevate our soul while we're here on earth. Good deeds, observance, overcoming obstacles within us to become a better person, controlling our base physical desires and making them holy. For example, we have to eat, which is no different than an animal, but bless and thank God for our food, and that elevates us to a higher level.
See, we have been smacked upside the head a lot this year. If God wants to cut us a break just this 1 minute, just 1 minute, I am so not looking that gift horse in the mouth. Or any other orifice. Yes. So, oh God. Okay, where am I? Okay, I'm not looking this gift horse in the mouth or any other orifice. Ooh, give me a shout out here. Thank you. Thank you. So, we are diving in to these new pills, right? Ooh, yeah, baby! Okay, but there's one pill that we leave behind. Maggie's regular doctor suggests that she go off her regular birth control. So, I have to go on to birth control, which means...
Condoms have changed a lot since I was 17. Apparently, there have been major advancements in intercourse in the intervening years that I was not aware of. Condoms in different colors and sizes and shapes. Well, not shapes. I mean, there's no trapezoids, But, enhancements or personalities. Yeah. Like, you got your Trojans, of course, very rah! Very 300, very romantic.
Trojan Maxim XL, feel my Greco-Roman machine, yeah!
But then you've got, your lifestyles. Very soft, very 80s. No Homeric clattering of steel here, just candles and lifestyles. So thin, you'll forget you're wearing them. That could be awkward a couple days later at the gym. And your natural lambskin luxury condoms for the man who makes over $100,000 a year and doesn't want children. And then condoms with batteries that vibrate. How lazy does a guy have to be to use that? Seriously. Your generic brand. Yeah. Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to condoms, I'm just not interested in the President's Choice or the Flavor Right house brand. Macaroni? Yes. Birth control? No.
Yes, and then we have to talk about quantity. Now back in the old days, I would debate about whether or not to use, to buy the giant Costco size, right? Right? Wait, no, I have to weigh the cost savings advantage on a per condom basis against the question of if I'd ever actually use all 12. But now, the 3 dozen box it is! Woohoo! Whoa! Oh, hey, oh, how about a little foreplay, a little cuddling? Fuck that. How about a little post-coital holding and chatting? I feel like we haven't talked. Nah, I'm gonna go raid the fridge. Do we have any pizza? I'm married to a frat boy. She starts, asking to join my pickup basketball game, or I catch her eating straight out of the fridge, and we're cutting back on the pills. So, another side effect is that she's becoming more masculine, and I am becoming more feminine. I find myself out shopping and just buying her things, because I'm seriously, I get flowers or a necklace or a baseball card of her favorite player as a kid, just cause. In hindsight, that should have been the first clue that the ground was shifting underneath. Hey, Emma! Hey, how was school, huh? How was that math test? How was lunch? Hear any good jokes I can steal? Maggie? Maggie? Have you noticed a change in... I can't help noticing you're only wearing a towel. I can't help noticing you're not even wearing a towel anymore. I'll get 5 minutes. So both of us are thrilled with Maggie's newfound libido. She's trying to find ways to get some of the drugs to all the patients who complain about their sex life, I suggest she diagnose them all with restless leg. Did I just see your leg twitch? Let me give you this prescription. She can't do that. And as for me, well, I have got this one good thing in my life, right? And guess what? I have to keep it a secret. Yeah. I walk around looking at other men, and I still know them, but they don't know me anymore. They think we're all on the same sex-deprived island with no hope of rescue. But every night, while they're asleep, I'm taking a motorboat back to the Sex Ahoy mainland. Woo! And I want to laugh, I want to shout, I want to have this one happy corner while my whole house is slowly burning down around me. And I can't even share that.
I've been married for a while. I actually think I'm getting better in bed. See, when we first got married, I would go all night just to satisfy my wife. Now, one time. My wife is happy for a month, So I am getting pretty good at this. Pretty soon, we might not have to do it at all. I'm sorry. Thank you. You've been great.
Philip, you're not being honest with yourself or the audience. So where's the funny?
Where is the funny in a guy getting all the sex he wants? Or his wife having a debilitating disease? Or beginning to lose her grip? See, Maggie used to ask me, how can you concentrate and get anything done when you are thinking about sex all the time? Now she asks again, but it's a very different question. How can you concentrate and get anything done when you are thinking about sex all the time? That's when I began to see the future. See, Maggie's most recent uptick in craving is a result of her most recent 2 milligram increase in medication. Her body is changing too quickly. I mean, she just gets her symptoms under control, and then, boom, she doesn't. And the only answer that we have is to take more pills, which is just going to send her sex drive into higher and higher gears. And these are gears that I vaguely recall from when I was 19. I'm not 19 anymore. What's the matter, honey? Maybe it's the condoms. They reduce sensitivity, right? And I'm not complaining. Really, I'm not. Really, I am not. But we've been having sex so much that maybe my penis isn't sensitive enough. Okay, time out. Men joke that they have no control over their penis, right? And I am Exhibit A. Now I'm not using this as an excuse for the places some men ultimately put their penis. That we can control. But we do not always control the erection part. We get it when we don't want to. Sometimes we can't when we do. I mean, except for when we have a disease like Parkinson's, is there any other body part that's out there doing whatever the hell it wants? Anything, anytime it wants to? Damn the side effects, damn the owner, Well, maybe our colon popping off noises and smells when it sees fit, but, no other external body part. Our legs just don't accidentally reach out and kick somebody without us meaning to. And, I've never heard of a normal, healthy man saying, I was really in the mood for a glass of water. And there was this gorgeous glass right in front of me, and I couldn't get my arm to reach out and grab it. You sure it's not me? No. You are the hottest, sexiest, woman I know. Any penile failure I have is not due to you. Then just relax, honey. It'll happen. It's just sex. Just? What does that mean? Sex rules our lives. Now, at various points on the trip, it may go from being in the driver's seat to riding shotgun, and occasionally maybe it's in the back seat, but it is never in another car. And it's not just in your car, but it's in every other car riding around out there. That's why there are so many accidents. Sex is the reason behind marriage and all the time and money and effort that goes into finding a mate. Sex is also behind a lot of divorce, too. Oh, and another side effect? Divorce lawyers. Yeah. Sex is the powerhouse behind our whole entire economy. Think of all the businesses that would collapse if men and women were trying to get hook up, right? Florists, jewelers, bars, brewers, vintners, restaurants, hotels, clothing stores, sports car dealerships, chick flicks. Pharmaceutical companies would lose billions without drugs to make us look and feel better about ourselves so we can have sex with whomever, whenever we want, right? My wife and her colleagues would twiddle their thumbs all day long without sex-related health issues, not to mention jobs like porn, prostitution, and your weekly alternative newspaper, and heck, men wouldn't bother getting power jobs if it didn't increase their chances of getting laid. And when powerful men aren't getting it when they want, they get crabby and start wars. And that's why we have the whole military-industrial complex. And did I mention children? Sex is responsible for the regeneration of our entire planet. So don't tell me it's just sex. The future of the entire species rests on my penis. Not to mention, if Maggie can't get sexual satisfaction while she's on these drugs, she'll stop taking the medication, which means taking other drugs with potentially worse side effects like dyskinesias, or drugs that are less effective that let her symptoms get worse to the point where she can't work, which destroys our whole finances, which destroys our whole life, which destroys... I guess I'm just having a little trouble relaxing. Or I can get her some things to satisfy her when I can't. Sex shops are confusing. There are so many products, it is hard to choose. No, which leads me to utter a combination of words I never would have expected to form a sentence coming out of my mouth. How much for the 8-inch cock? I've said each of those words before, but never together in that order.
$79.95.
And the 6-inch cock?
$69.95.
Oh. So it's only $10 more for 2 cock inches. Well, that's only $5 per cock inch. I'll take the bigger one.
Okay. Would you like that in a bag?
Very much. Well, this helps a little bit, but the good and the bad news is that it's a poor substitute. She wants me. And I'm still able to rise to the occasion myself most nights. Many nights. Some nights. I don't know what the worst new secret was. My inability to satisfy my wife, or my unwillingness to take a simple pill to satisfy my wife. But supplements. Oh, there's no shame in supplements. They're not drugs. They haven't been evaluated by the FDA. It says so right there on the colorful little label, man. All right here under Men's Health. Yes, there's a yohimbe bark and maca root and horny goatweed. Not making that up. Charged for men. Yeah, all right. I'm a man. I need charging. Wasn't so bad. It's natural, right? And it works. We make some sweet, sweet, semi-natural supplement love. And 2 hours later, I'm wired, I'm jittery, and my penis is the Hulk ripping out of its skin. Maggie? Maggie? Oh, sleep. Oh, God. Down, boy. Down. Okay. Non-sexual thoughts. Baseball. Ruth Westheimer. German Chancellor Angela Merkel. I think it's time I have a conversation with my doctor. I don't want to wait till I see a reflection of me talking back to myself like that guy in the Viagra commercial. He doesn't need Viagra, he needs an anti-hallucinatory. You know, Philip, your blood pressure is a little bit on the high side. It used to be 110/80 and now it is 140/90. Are you feeling stressed? No. Well, I can give you some medication for the blood pressure if you'd like. No, we're not flinging open the medicine cabinet here, okay? I'm here for one thing, just one. And actually, if you can find a way to channel that blood pressure into my penis so that it balloons up naturally. Oh, it does not work that way. I can prescribe the Viagra for you if you would like, but I actually find a better response with the Levitra. What's the difference? Well, the Levitra stays in your system a little longer and reacts a little bit faster. But you're going to want to take either pill 1 hour before sex. All right, I read about a daily Cialis. You just take it every day and then you're always good to go. What about that? I thought you were concerned about taking too many pills. I am. I'm not even sure I'm gonna take one, I just wanna have options. That last bullet in the gun in case I'm surrounded and the 20 bad guys are coming at me and I don't have any other way out. I just... just in case. I am not really certain that you need a daily pill. How many times do you and your wife have sex? On average? On average? Per week? Per week? 7, 8 times? Oh! I did not realize the severity of the problem. I'll give you a script for all 3. You tell me which one works best. 7 or 8 times? Sweet Jesus.
You know, Philip, maybe there is a reason why you are losing this ability you once enjoyed.
Like I'm not eating enough green leafies?
Like God is trying to tell you something, you schmendrick. Perhaps you and your wife should be focusing your soul, your energies, somewhere else. These pills, are they truly going to elevate you?
They better or I'm getting my money back.
Yeah, these chemicals, Philip. Is there a chance that they are interfering with God's message to you?
And is there a chance that God, him or herself, is just a chemical in our brain, Rabbi? Look, I haven't done hallucinogens, but I know there are drugs that are supposed to get you to enlightenment and even open up a phone line direct to God. A drug that can do that might give us a better shot at understanding the path to divine action and elevating our souls, right? So why don't more spiritual people do those drugs? I'll tell you why. Because when we hear that they're talking to God, we blow it off as the chemicals from the shrooms running around their brains. Our so-called clean chemical mix of brain tells us that those other brains, the ones with the extra chemical, are batshit crazy. But how clean are we? What is the right amount of any given chemical in here? Or here? Or here? Oh, surprise! There are... Beyond the well-publicized 4-hour erection, there's also sudden blindness and sudden death. Says so right here on the little label. Yep. Not that that would stop a man. If sudden blindness and death were a side effect for a female version of Viagra, women would look at you and go, oh, you know who I'm going to screw? I'm going to screw that because I'm not taking any of it. But men,
It's like, okay, blindness, death, yeah. But you're telling me I can get a great hard on, right?
oh yeah, and see, you know what? I don't see any mention of the financial side effects. We are must do everything quietly now. Spending over $2,000 a year on Maggie's pills, and I'm about to add another $1,000 to that. That's a secret we can keep from Emma only so long. Hey, Emma, hey! Look, I know you have got great grades, and you had your heart set on Harvard, but your mother and I invested all of our savings in pharmaceuticals. No, I know their stocks are doing really well, but we didn't invest in the stocks. We invested in the actual pharmaceuticals, ones that we've been using to have lots and lots and lots of sex. Ooh, yeah. Good luck at Tri-C. Gee, I don't know. Why is my blood pressure up? Come on, be a man. Be a man, whatever that means nowadays. Be a man for Maggie. For elevation. Ears, heart racing, blood pressure's definitely not sinking, but it works. No question, it works. Maggie, honey, I took the Cialis. I think we've got about 36 hours. I don't want to anymore. I want to, but you shouldn't be taking those pills. My body used to be enough. It still is. I'm just taking the occasional pill, plus the supplements. I'm the one taking them, okay? Not you. Look, I just want it to be pure pleasure. Natural. Oh, yeah, says the woman taking Requip every day. Miralax to keep you regular, was on the birth control pill, propranolol to quell brisk performance anxiety. It's a curse. This whole horny, craving, Parkinson's needs, sex hunger thing. It's not the drugs that make me want you. I want you. So I take the drugs. And guess what? I got another secret. I'm having a hard time reaching orgasm even when I do have an erection. Think I'm going to tell Maggie that? It's now come to this. I am now considering faking an orgasm. Oh yeah, when I perfect that, my journey to womanhood will be complete.
Is it possible, Phil?
Shut up, Shell. So now, every night, I stand in front of our loaded medicine cabinet, running calculations no math class ever prepared me for. Now, is it possible Maggie isn't going to be interested tonight? Ooh, what time does Emma go to bed? Dad, will you tell Mom to get off my back? Okay, am I ready to go unsupplemented if she does want to do it tonight? Oh, and how soon could she be ready? Philip, have you seen Emma's grades? What is her problem? Because I can take the Viagra, but that'll take about an hour to kick in, and Maggie could be raring to go in 10 minutes. Or if she works late or is tired, maybe I shouldn't take anything, let myself clear out. Well, unless she wakes up and wants it at like 5 in the morning, because with her not sleeping and my stomach gurgling from all the pills, there's a good chance we'll both be up at 3 o'clock, and sex is a good way to kill the time. Philip, what are you doing? Phil, honey, I'm waiting. Dad! Okay, so maybe I should take the Cialis, because that lasts longer. Oh, no, unless I play basketball tomorrow morning. Cialis makes my heart pound too hard. Phil, when are you gonna perform again? On stage. Okay, so it's the Levitra, but the 20 milligram or the 10. Long enough to last, but not so long that I can't take a booster tomorrow if Maggie wants a midday quickie. Phil! Dad! Okay, if I combine that with the yohimbe bark and the maca root, plus Maggie is going back on the pill to increase the effects of the Requip. Oh, but that's just gonna up her sex drive still yet again. Oh, but she's talking about taking Naxatrine to control the impulsive behavior. She's taking a drug to keep up with the drug that's controlling the disease. And I'm taking a drug to keep up with the drug that's controlling the drug that's controlling the disease. Nobody in this house understands me! I need to talk to somebody. Not to mention the 55-gallon drum of ibuprofen I now dip into for all the aches and pains of trying to stay physically active, because after all, isn't what all this is about, huh? Bottom line, aren't we just trying to fend off our decaying bodies for as long as inhumanly or humanly possible, by whatever means necessary, to buy ourselves a little more time to elevate our fucking souls? We made a choice. There are times, no matter how the chemicals in our brains, natural or artificial, are sloshing around, there are times here and now in this body when a balance can be achieved and we can make decisions with clarity and foresight. At this moment and at those moments, our soul or our wisdom or just our sense of right or wrong are tested. And I believe one of those moments was when Maggie found out that she had Parkinson's. Because at that moment, she had a choice of how she was going to approach her life with the knowledge that she had an incurable degenerative disease. And she chose to double her efforts to do good in the world. I think by practicing medicine, she is elevating her soul, and my soul to some extent, by being her partner. Not to disparage that rabbi's choice to refuse medication, but if Maggie's soul is benefiting from anything, it is her determination to continue to function as best she can as a working physician and moil and wife and mother, despite her afflictions, be it brain or drug or God-induced. And beyond that, her salvation comes from her faith that there will be a way to lead a purposeful life when the Parkinson's won't let her work anymore. We have nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing that we can't tell the world. And as I look in the mirror, I see my little girl's red, tear-stained face. Dad, you want to know what my problem is? My problem is that I can't tell you that I have a problem. I can't stop thinking about Mom. And I don't have any even friends in it. I can tell, you know, and it's chewing up everything that I try to do or think or hope, and it's really, really, really hard. You're telling me, kiddo. We talked to a couple of her friends' parents to see if we can keep this all confidential for now. And then Emma tells her two best friends. And it is like you can see the monkey coming off her back right there. We got our daughter back. And getting her back got us back. How much of it was our little girl's example? I don't know, but Maggie woke up one morning, looked in the mirror and said, "That's it. I can't keep this secret any longer." Actually, looking in the mirror was a big part of it. She'd lost over 15 pounds, and she looked great. But she was still losing weight. The thing that was suppressing her appetite wasn't the Parkinson's. It was keeping the secret. I want my life back. I want clothes that fit. I want to tell. How many people are aware that April is National Parkinson's Awareness Month? It's also National STD Awareness Month and National Poetry Month. So if you feel like using your Parkinson's or syphilis as a muse to rhyme, April's the time. For Maggie, April, nearly 2 years after her diagnosis, was time to finally give up her secret. She started with her partners. If somewhere down the road she needed to stop performing surgery, these were the people that would be directly affected by it. And she told them, and they were gracious beyond belief, offering support and the freedom to do whatever she saw fit and whatever time frame suited her. And it all got a little less scary. I told a few friends, it got a little less scary. With every conversation, it got easier to breathe. Slowly, Maggie started telling some of her patients. My favorite of all was one, this woman in her 60s. Towards the end of the appointment, the woman made a comment to Maggie about the importance of keeping your health, and Maggie used that as an opening to tell her about the Parkinson's. After the woman recovered from the initial shock, she listened to the details, and then this woman gave my wife the best show of support she could have ever asked for. "Dr. Rosen, no matter how much you shake, I will still let you stick your finger up my ass." I only hope all of her patients feel the same. Now, all of her friends and her patients want to know how they can get their hands on some of that love potion number 9. It's got a brand name now. It's called Requip. Yeah. Now we're simpatico. Yeah. Weirdly enough, telling people actually let Maggie cut back on her medication. But my stage life isn't getting any better. No one buys the premise of a guy getting too much unless I tell the whole story. Look, you know I'm a fan of long setups, but there's no time in a stand-up routine when people are waiting for the punchline.
So don't do stand-up.
Shell, it's who I am.
It's who you were. You also were a guy who took no pills. You want to tell the story? You need a new stage. You, my friend, need a one-man show.
That's why he's the rabbi. So I guess all of us being here tonight is a side effect of Shell. And Can I tell you? I really didn't know how this was gonna go tonight. But I gotta say that it's nice to unload about the past instead of worrying about the future. You know, most people look to the future with happy anticipation. But when Parkinson's is a part of your family, you try to think not too much about what's coming. I mean, I can still paint positive scenarios, but when Maggie struggles with worsening symptoms, I'm at a loss of honest words of comfort. All that I can confidently tell her is, I love you. And then mix another drug or two into our cocktails. Damn the side effects. You know, I suspect that we're going to be altering our body chemistry for a while. Who knows what the punchline of any given extra particle might be? Doesn't really matter. The laughs have been in the slow setup. And the setup goes like this. Maggie and Phil take a trip together, laughing, crying when they have to, one shaky, erect step at a time. Now, if you will excuse me. Yep. I got a date with my wife. This